All right, how you doing? So I've got an old Stella 6-stringer. I took 3 strings off. So this is a 5-4-3 string configuration. So that's a G, D, G. So the top string is a 5th string tuned to G. The next string is a 4th string tuned to D, normal. And the first string is a G string, normally a 3rd string. So that's a G. So G, it's an A string, 5th string tuned to G. That's a D string, 4th string tuned normal to D. And there's a 3rd string tuned normal to G. So there's your G, D, G, 3-string. So I'll show you just a little bit of some walking bass line first. I think that's a good place to start. So what you've got here is a down strum with your thumb, up strum with your finger. That's how I do it anyway. There's a million different ways to do it, but that's how I do it. So you've got your thumb going down, your first finger coming up. So on the walking bass pattern, I'm just keeping the first finger on the first string. Just continually doing an upstroke, and then the thumbs on the 5th string doing the downstroke. So here's what you have on this end. So what you have is 2nd finger on the 3rd fret, and then you have your 2nd string, your middle string, no fingers at all. And then you have your 1st finger on that 2nd string on the 2nd fret. Then you have your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret. Then you have your 1st finger on the 2nd fret, back down to 0 fret. So for that string only, the middle string, here's what we have. Alright. So you're going 0, no frets, 0. 2nd fret, 1st finger. 3rd fret, 3rd finger. Go back down, 2nd fret, 1st finger. Go back down to 0, no frets. So the whole thing, starting on the low G with your thumb. Remember, 1st string is always doing upstrokes on these other strings. Thumb on the big string, 1st finger on the middle string. So here's your walking bass line. So let me show you what this looks like with just a picking hand. So what you're doing is you're walking up, you're walking down. Thumb is on the G string, the low G string. 1st finger for this pattern only, never comes off that 1st string. 1st fingers are always on that 1st string, or 1st finger is always on that 1st string. That's for this walking bass pattern. So the whole thing, you have thumb, 1st finger. Thumb, no frets at all, just open, no fingers at all. That's the first 2 notes. Then you have your bass note, same 1st open string, no fingers. Then you have the open D string, no fingers at all. So to start out from the top here, we have 0 frets on the big string. we have 0 frets on the first string. Just bass string and first string. Then we have second finger, 3rd fret. Then we have 4th string open. 4th string, 2nd fret. 4th string, 3rd fret. 4th string, 2nd. 0. I shouldn't say 4th string, it's the 4th string of a 6 string set. So let's take a look just at the on this end. So I'm playing the top string, 0 and then 3. You must use these fingerings. 2nd finger here, 1st finger here. It's basically, give or take, sort of, kind of, sort of, 1 finger per fret. So if I wanted to play this note, I use that finger, this note, that finger. If I wanted to play this note, that finger, this note, that finger, this note, that finger. All right, so for this little pattern here only, remember, the 1st string, I'm never fretting it, never fretting it, never fretting it. It's open the whole time. The only thing I'm fretting is the top 2 strings. All right. So. Now, to see the whole thing, if you listen close, that 1st string is never fretted. It's just the open string every single time. Never fretted. So you're just basically walking the bass lines on the other 2 strings. So if you want to write this down, this is going to be the 3. Well, let's see here. Best way to notate this. We'll say this is the 3 string. This is the 2 string, and this is the 1 string. So if you wanted to notate this, it would be 3 0 1 0. 3 0 1 0. All right. 3 0 1 0. No frets at all. No frets at all. Open strings. All right. So that's your first note. So the next note is going to be 3 3, and you're going to use your 2nd finger. And again, 1 0. All right. So you have 3 0 1 0. Then you have 3 3 1 0. 1 being the 1st string, 0 being no frets. Then we have 4, or I should say 2 0. 1 0. 2 2. 1 0. 2 3. 1 0. 2 2. 1 0. 2 0. 1 0. That's the entire walking pattern. So things obviously you need to keep in mind are playing the right string and playing the right fret and using the right fingers to fret. So for this tuning, you're going to have your 2nd finger here. So when I play this walking pattern, if you look at these 2 fingers, all you're doing is and you're putting this note in between each of those notes I just played on the bass end. So it's bass first finger, 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 bass first finger. It's just doing the bass notes and then the first string. Bass notes, first string, bass note, first string, bass note, first string for the whole thing. This is sort of a boogie walking bass pattern. So that's something you can start out with, kind of get the feel for that. Now for something completely different, what I'm going to do is show you a strumming pattern and just kind of do some improv down here on these other strings here. So what you have is a down with your thumb and up flick with your first finger. You're strumming down and you're strumming up. So you're just going. Now if I slow that way down, you have your thumb doing that, and you have a first finger doing the same thing with an upstroke. Now if you have ever played traditional 6-string guitar with a pick, this is what it would look like to do that same thing. Just a down up, just a down up. Now what I'm using here is just my fingers, so it's a down up with my fingers. So it's a down with your thumb, up with your first finger. So that's the standby sort of engine. I call this your engine. That's your standby strumming pattern. Now I'm just doing a quick flick with my thumb, a quick flick up my first finger. I'm not even worried about this hand for now. So I would practice this just for a bit. So it's a quick flick across all three, just blam, all three. Quick flick up with the first finger, all three again. So don't get all caught up in strings with it. Just do a quick flick across all three. Quick flick up, all three. Now it might be helpful, maybe sort of kind of maybe, to move back down towards the bridge because the strings are less floppy down here. And your mileage may vary. So that is the default Hill Country open tune strum. I can do a whole lot with that with this hand. This hand pretty much never stops that pattern for a regular open tune kind of a shuffle thing. And then this hand, of course, is going to change some stuff up. I can do all sorts of stuff with this hand. So just to give you an idea of how you can kind of mess around here, just to keep it simple, let's just say that you're going to be fretting only the 5th, the 3rd, and the 0 frets. Of course, you're not fretting a 0 fret, but you know what I mean. So we're going to do a 5th fret, a 3rd fret, and a no fret on all the strings. Now, we're not going to do necessarily 1st string, 2nd string, 3rd string, 1st string, 2nd, 3rd string, over and over and over, like this. We're going to mix it up. So we're going to go like... Again, this hand never changes. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. All I'm doing is going. So I'm playing nothing with this hand, no frets. But then I'm going to the 2nd string, or I should say 1st string. And then I'm going to the 2nd string, 2nd fret. This is just a little exercise. And you can go to the 3rd string if you want. Now, if you want to get fancier, we can go from the 5 to the 3 fret to the 0 fret to the 5 to the 3 to the 0 on multiple strings jumping around. So here's an example of that. I'm on the 1st string, 3rd fret, 2nd fret, 0. I'm sorry, 5, 3, 0. These are again just exercises. Now we can go to the second string. Same thing. And then the third string. Right? Those are just practice little exercises. So it's the first string, second string, and the third string, the big string. This hand never stops. What I would do is just kind of jam, just experiment doing this same pattern. Just keep this hand simple, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. No fingers at all over here. So I'm moving my hand over here so you can see I'm not fretting. Then I go back to fret. That's sort of the beginning strumming pattern of the hill country style. And then the first thing I showed you was your walking bass pattern. That's a little bit more Chicago blues style. So you can strum all the strings. Like this, and do your walking bass. Or you can do your individual strings if you want. So let's zero in on this hand, doing that pattern. Thumb on the big string, first finger on the first. So thumb on the third string. Your first finger stays on the first string the whole time. So you have two different things there, two completely different things to work on. You got that walking pattern, bass line pattern, and then you've got your more of a hill country thing. And you can kind of come up with whatever fingerings you want over here and just keep this hand going with your down up. You might want to kind of experiment with different 3rd fret, 7th fret, 5th fret, 3rd fret, 0 fret. We're getting to the R.L. Burnside stuff here probably in the next lesson, but this will give you the engine, what I call the engine. This hand just does the up and down. You can also do the individual picking, which is what I started out doing, like this. I'm not using my second finger at all, it's just following my first finger, so these are kind of going together, so don't worry about that. I'm not fretting, not picking with that second finger. I'm only picking with the first finger and the thumb. This is my default claw hammer. Everybody has their own default position for their hand, so don't worry about any of that. So I'm just using my thumb, first finger, thumb, first finger, thumb, first finger, over and over and over. Later on, we'll move up to the I'm sure you've heard that before, but for now, we're just going to stick on the 1. They call that the 1. That's the first chord of the blues. So we're sticking on that G chord. So if you had somebody else playing guitar, they'd be chunking on a G chord. Piano would be chunking on a G chord. But if you move up to here, we'll get into all this later, but that's your second chord of the blues. That's your third chord of the blues, C and D. For now, we're just sticking with the 1, so this is called Staying on the 1. So that's your walking pattern, and then you've got your R.L. Burnside sort of kind of hill country. And this is kind of what I did when I started out doing this. I would just kind of get a feel for it, use one finger, this kind of stuff. This hand never stops, the chunka chunka chunka, and I'm doing the first finger alternating between whatever strings, whatever frets. I mean, just however you want to do it, just make up your own stuff. First and third finger. That should get you started. Just kind of get a feel for it and get used to this hand doing the down up. This is the old school fingerstyle version of just a regular old up and down strum with the pick. Generally I use, generally probably 99% of the time, I use my fingers when I'm doing open tune, slide, and hill country blues, because I have individual, if I want to do a lot of individual notes, then I pretty much, fingers are the best way to go. If I'm playing a certain guitar and I can't quite get the tone that I need, and I don't want to bring 2 guitars to the gig, sometimes I'll use a pick, but 90% of the time I'm using my fingers. So what I would do is just kind of jam, get the feel of the rhythm. Here I'm just doing, you can make up a whole slew of different strumming patterns, but this hand again, chunka 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 chunk, just use my first finger on the up, thumb on the down, keep that going, but then just kind of alternate over here. I'm just going from the 3rd string to the 2nd string, 2nd, 3rd, 2nd, 3rd, 2nd. There's just a trillion different little exercises. You'll come up with tons and tons in 5 minutes. You'll just be they'll just pop out of nowhere. But that should get you started as far as your strumming and getting a feel for the notes, what they sound like, what frets you'll be playing on. I'm trying to keep it real simple at the beginning here, so we're really not going above the 5th fret. But you can kind of experiment if you want to go up higher on the different strings. Just keep this hand going. Just keep this hand going, keep this hand going, keep this hand going, keep this hand going. Chunka 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 chunk. Thumb down, first finger up. I hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions. Talk to you later.